What's going on YouTube? Michael Harris here, back again with another video. I think you guys are really going to like this one today. It's a peek inside the setup of my six-figure Google Ads account. So stay tuned.
Too many thoughts on my mind, I can't sleep at night, so I just keep writing. I don't need no help, I don't need opinions, so don't waste my time then. I just been living online.
Alright, so before we get started, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. I'm committed for the rest of 2020 to giving away 3 value-packed videos every week on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Aside from that, at 1,000 subscribers, I'm actually going to be giving away a high-converting done-for-you Shopify store with at least 10 winning products, as well as my Google Shopping blueprint that I use to scale to well over $9,000 a day using only Google Shopping. So you definitely don't want to miss that. The criteria to enter your chance to win is to subscribe to the channel, and then you also need to click the links down below this video to join the Google Kingpins chat group. It's a free chat group on Telegram. There's absolutely no price to enter or anything like that. You're welcome to talk to me there. I do give away more valuable content in that chat group as well. So definitely check that out, even if you don't want to enter your chance to win that Shopify store. So let's go ahead and get started with this video today, guys. I wanted to show you exactly how I set up my ad accounts, the columns that I have, and kind of break down some of what those columns mean, because there's a lot of numbers in Google advertising accounts and it can get really confusing. Also, at the very end of this video, I'm going to give you guys 2 bonuses that you probably, if you're watching YouTube videos, don't know what these mean or necessarily that they're even available in Google Ads account. So make sure you stay towards the end of this video and I'll be sure to give those out to you as well. So the rest of this is going to be on a screen recording. Let's go ahead and hop into it now. All right, guys, so this is going to be a quick rundown of what inside my ad accounts look like. It's important to remember that you don't necessarily have to have your advertising account set up like this, but a lot of these metrics are really important. So I hope you find this video useful. We'll go ahead and get started. So first of all, what I would recommend is always having a Google Analytics account set up on your Shopify store, and always having it linked to your Google advertising account. So as you can see, you can do this by coming to Tools and Settings within your ad account, and then going to linked accounts. This isn't going to be like an in-depth tutorial on how to do that. I'm sure you can find how to do that on my channel or within your ad account. It's really straightforward. It's really simple. You literally just link it really quick. But you'll see why this is important later on in this video. So make sure you stay tuned on that part. And so that's the first and most important step to this. If you don't have that done, it's really important that you do that, because you'll see in a minute why that information matters. So on the next slide, next what you want to do is within your campaign, you're going to want to click on one of your campaigns, and you're going to come to ad groups, and in ad groups you're going to come to columns, and I'm going to show you guys how to adjust these columns within our Google Ads campaign. So once you go to columns, you'll see it's going to look a little bit different like this. Then I just screenshotted the actual section, but you're going to see little different areas where you can drop down and have these checkbox and click them on and off. So for performance, this is what I have enabled, is clicks, the cost of the actual days worth of advertising or whatever the time frame is that you're looking inside the ad account, the impressions, the click-through rate, and then the average CPC. And then the next one is conversions. And I keep track of the amount of conversions. So however many sales Google is registering, we keep track of here. And then the cost per conversion, and then the conversion rate. And then the next one is competitive metrics. So these are not default. Those last ones, a lot of the times they just come as default on the ad account. The next few that I'm going to be showing you are ones that you actually can go in and add and keep tabs of this information, which is really useful. So on the competitive metrics tab, I enable all of them: search impression share, search absolute top impression, and search lost rank, as well as click share. These metrics will give you a numerical version of where you're ranking in ad auctions, and as you learn and get more familiar with them, you can really rely on these heavily to know where your ads are showing in Google Shopping. So the next step after that is to go to the Google Analytics tab. And as you can see, once we have our Google Analytics tab, enabled, it will actually import this information into our Google Ads account so we can just see it like clear right on the campaign and ad group level. And what I enable is bounce rate and then pages per session, and as well as average session duration, which is like it'll show you a number and it'll be seconds. Whatever that number is how many seconds people are staying on your page. So on the next slide, I want to show you guys the product groups, and there's going to be an extra one that you can add at the product group level that's really helpful too. So to go on with this here, on the product groups, this is going to be under the campaigns. Like up here, you'll have your campaign selected, and it's the same screen as where we just were on the ad groups, but now we're going to click on product groups on the left bar over here. And you're going to come down to columns again and click columns. So now we're setting the columns for the product group level in a campaign. So there's campaign level, there's ad group, and there's product group. And those are all different subcategories of the same campaign. I know it gets kind of confusing, but basically inside the campaign, there's ad groups and product groups. And those are the two different, different columns and settings that you can read for your information. So if you want to get more in depth in this, I have videos on this somewhere on the channel on how to use this kind of stuff. But right now I'm just showing you like my exact setup. And so again, go to product groups and go to columns. And once you're in columns, everything is exactly the same as the previous slides in terms of conversions and Google Analytics and all that. But now what we're going to do is we're going to come to competitive metrics, and you'll see a few more that show up at the product group level. So this is not going to be on the ad group level. It's on the product group level where benchmark CTR and benchmark max CPC are allowed to be enabled on your columns. So in a few more slides, I'll get into the columns that I have enabled and like what they actually look like, so you guys have a better idea. But the benchmark CTR and the benchmark max CPC tell you what other advertisers selling the same or similar products in your niche are paying for their advertising. For the CPC, it tells you what they're paying for, and what the CTR, the click-through rate, is of other advertisers. So you know, and you can gauge on like how much you're spending and what your click-through rate is. And these come in very important, guys. Once you notice and once you start to learn how these metrics affect your quality score, you will rely on these heavily. So in the next slides, I'm going to show you what they actually look like in the ad account, in the ad group level and the product group level. All right, guys, so on this slide, this is a screenshot of the ad group within a campaign. It's really hard, you'll notice, when you enable all these columns to get them all into like one screen. That's why there's like this little bar right here, is because you actually have to scroll back and forth when you have all these enabled. So I tried to take a screenshot of like the most important. As you can see, this is for like a pretty long time frame. This is not all in like one day. I think this is for like a week and a half or 2 weeks. But essentially, as you can see, it gives you like a really detailed breakdown of all the information. And some of these that I told you to enable or showed you that I enabled, we can see here that we have a lot of, like a lot of valuable information. So search impression share, search absolute top impression share, search lost rank, and then as well as our Google Analytics stuff here, and then obviously the conversion rate and conversion. So one thing I want you guys to notice, I'm going to give you guys away a little bit of value here. If you're still watching all the way through this part, then you guys deserve a little bit of bonus, because that means you want to learn. So what I'm going to teach you guys right now is first of all, you don't have to be number one or the first ad all the time to actually make money with Google Shopping. You can be second, third, fourth, fifth. And so what this means is this is like the exact like number one top position on Google Shopping. That's what this column means. So as you can see, like less than 10% of the time am I ever number one. However, I am always like second or third or like right behind those. You don't necessarily need to be number one. That's like that's like a common myth that a lot of people think is like you have to be the number one spot. But if you're the number one spot, that may not always be like the most profitable thing that you've ever, like you're not going to make that much profit from being number one because you'll have a really high cost per click. So that being said, to go on to the next one, search loss rank, the lower the number, the better. You want to have the lower the number. That means that your page and everything is like really high quality. And then click share is like how many of the clicks you're getting in comparison to other companies and other competitors advertising on Google. Going into the Google Analytics, the page session is, as you can see, like I mentioned earlier, 60 means 60 seconds. A lot of the times, in my experience, this may be different. It's like going to be different for every niche and stuff, but a lot of the times in my experience, mine is like never more than 2 minutes. It's really common that like a lot of people just click on an ad and they see something and then they leave and like they don't buy. So your average page session is going to be low. Obviously, the people buying stuff are going to be on your site for like 3, 4, 5 minutes, however long it takes them to check out. But since conversion rates these days are so low, as you can see on this campaign, we're only getting like 1.4% conversion rate, even though it is profitable. That people not spending that much time is going to bring the average session rate down. So it is normal to see like a low number there. However, if you see a really high number, that's generally a good thing, because that means that people are spending more time on your page, which in turn means that it's a better quality landing page. So you can definitely use that to gauge like where you're at in comparison to other stores and other advertisers, and just if your keywords are matching what you're selling. The next thing is pages per session. This will show the average like amount of pages that people visit when they visit your store through an ad. So again, most of the time this is going to be low. It's always low for me. It may be different for you, but low is okay. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It just means that like people are coming and going, and obviously you want them to stay around and visit as much pages as possible, but you want those pages to be the checkout. Like you don't really want people to shop through your store. You just want them to buy whatever you're advertising. So you can use this to, again, gauge where you're at. And the last thing is bounce rate. And that basically means like how often and how quick people come and go on your store, like how long the session is. And you can read, again, you can read all of this exactly word for word what Google says all this stuff is by just highlighting these columns, and it will take you to a help doc. Again, it's one of the main reasons why I like Google so much, is because like they just tell you exactly what everything is. Like there's no guessing, there's no messing around. It's always really clear and straightforward. So on the next slide, we're going to talk about the product group columns, and these are the ones that I was mentioning to you earlier that have the benchmark data and the benchmark criteria for what other advertisers are paying or getting a click-through rate for with their advertising. So as you can see, again, this is not all the columns that you'll see, but it does have the more important ones that we were talking about previously. So benchmark max CPC, this is what the average cost per click of other advertisers are paying for in your niche. So that being said, as you can see, you guys are probably going to be looking, my cost per click is going down and it's way lower, but I'm still showing on the other pages, I'm still getting really high rankings in these columns. I'm not showing first, as we can see here, but I also have a low search loss rank and high impression share. And that means that Google is favoring my ad and my store because it's a high quality store. So we can get into this later. Like if you guys want to schedule a one-on-one, you're welcome to do that with me and talk more in depth. Like I'm only going to give out so much free information on YouTube. But that being said, these columns are very important and they're very crucial to your success with Google advertising. Last one that I want to touch base on is the benchmark CTR. As you can see, this is the benchmark, like average across the board, what everybody else is getting for their click-through rate. So those are the columns that I use with my ad accounts. Every time I start a new ad account, I just enable all of those things, and it's really important information that will help you guys become a better advertiser. So I hope you found this video useful. Thank you guys for watching, and have a good day. All right, guys, so that was a quick peek at what the inside of my ad accounts look like. I hope you guys found that video useful. It's definitely going to be helpful to have those columns enabled on your ad account. Those metrics are very, very important if you want to scale up into big numbers, or even if you want to make any profit at all. You have to be paying attention to all of those numbers. So like I said earlier in the video, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, join the chat group for your chance to win that done for you Shopify store, as well as my Shopify and Google advertising blueprint. Make sure you stay tuned to the next video, guys. I'm going to be giving away all sorts of valuable content. So I really hope you guys found this video useful. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching and have a good day.